Europe, where the EU finds itself stuck between a rock and a hard place, the old veritable rock and hard place. The old continent has been the U.S.'s right-hand man, really, for almost a century now, but the rise of China may have shaken that bond recently. And with China and the U.S. now officially mired in a new Cold War, as we just alluded to moments ago, the EU's top diplomat has said that the time has come to choose sides. That Europe has to decide whether it's going to stick with this special relationship, this bond with the United States, or change course, maybe radically, and start going with China, who's about to become the new world superpower. All right.
Shalom. It's your brother Yirach, giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachach Kodash, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Shalom to the elect of Israel, the 1/3, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, whom the Lord will have mercy on in these latter days. Shalom. Shalom to the men of the Lord that are preaching the truth on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to you, brothers. As you just heard them go into, this is more pitting of the nations against each other in World War III. And I'll go over and over it again because I literally can't believe how every day we're just seeing more and more proof of the prophecies come through right before our very eyes, you know. And this morning I saw this, and it's a very quick video, but I have the two main precepts which just prove it, you know. So I'll keep bringing it out, and you know, so that we get it, that we see that this is on the horizon. This is Revelation 17 and 15, and he said, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, and the whore is America. You know, you have the beast system, which is basically the NATO, which is Western Europe for the most part, and America. Okay, that's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and they're what you call colloquially is known as the West, and they're major enemies with China, who is confederate with Russia and Iran, you know, and those are major economies. They're emerging economies on the east, and now Europe, which is the part of the beast, but not the whore in this scenario, as America is having to make a choice, as you see the brother just went into, not brother Salakia, but well, Rick Sanchez could be, you know, but RT's going in on how they're having to make economic decisions, you know, and that's soon they're going to be war decisions, you know, because who you do business with is who you're going to partner with, who you're going to side with in war, you know, economically. So you have it happening right before our very eyes, you know, and the 10 horns, which represent the 10 kingdoms in Europe, you know. Verse 16, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. This is prophesied that those nuclear missiles are going to come and hit this place. You know, they're going to be directly involved, if not fire directly, missiles directly onto America, you know. And it's going to be a lot coming from Russia, a lot coming from China, all over, really, you know. There's going to be nothing left of this place. The Most High, the Most High is set up America to be a giant example, you know, a memorial, you know, of what not to do. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be crazy, you know. Verse 17, for the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast. So the Most High has put this spirit on these other Europeans. The infighting you're seeing, you know, which side do they choose, America or the East and Russia? And right now Russia is producing a lot of the oil going into Europe. So they're in a predicament on who to choose, because until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city, and that great city is Babylon the Great, America, you know, also known as the whore, which it says the woman here, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Now, what other nation is reigning over the kings of the earth today? You can't really get around that. So let me let this video finish out, and I'll get Obadiah.
We've got 2 minutes for this discussion, but I want to hear what George Galloway has to say. He joins us now. George, what saith you?
Well, it was an important statement, and it's important in two ways. First of all, it does mark, as you've alluded, a move away from the United States, just 76 years after the great sacrifice of D-Day and the landings in Normandy. Now, China and the United States are being viewed as someone that you have to make a judgment between. There's no automaticity anymore in Europe's support for the United States. It also is important because it explicitly states that the new Asian century has begun. You'll remember some of the fellows on the Potomac were determined that this would be a new American century. Well, for the EU, the new Asian century has begun. And the European Union is going to have to find a way of maintaining decent relations with both sides. And that isn't going to be easy, because Washington isn't going to like the small print of what the European Union diplomats have said today.
Yeah, it sounds like they're making them choose now. Now more than ever, it looks like the United States is pushing other countries. It's either us or them, and you can't choose both. We're just going to have to see the way this plays out. I was hoping we could have a little longer conversation, George, but we've had a really busy...
And the way that this plays out is that they choose Asia ultimately. And as it says right there in Revelation 17, they shall hate the whore, So it's prophesied, Who are they going to choose, Now, they could cut more future deals with America, but ultimately, when World War III pops off, they're going to side against America, because this place is going to be utterly and completely destroyed.
Newscast. So I look forward to talking to you again, my friend.
Of course.
Always enjoy my conversations with George.
Good
luck.
luck.
All right. So once again.
And that's basically it. And I'll get Obadiah 1, verse 7. And all says, all the men of thy confederacy brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. It says, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? So this is major news, Call Halal Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rachach Wadash, for having these, right before our very eyes every day. It's more and more proof that what's happening is prophesied, So with that, hopefully you brothers were edified. Shalom.